I want to show you this. It's from the Herald Sun in Australia. I'm going to read you a couple of these headlines. Far-right identity allegedly flung knife at woman. Far-right personality pleads guilty to assault. Far-right political player convicted, fined over assault and harassment. Now, this is all about Yemini. This is about one of the key players in the TR News movement. Now, I can't click on these articles because they're all behind a paywall. But Yemini has just been convicted of what they describe as brutal harassment and assault of his ex-wife, whose harrowing victim impact statement said that he had broken her spirit and destroyed her self-worth. Now, somebody, however, has been kind enough to whiz me over the text of this article. I'm going to read a little bit of it to you. The former wife of far-right activist Yemini has broken down in court as she read out her victim impact statement after he was sentenced on unlawful assault and harassment charges. Sarah Lyford wept as she described how Yemini, real first name Avraham, had broken her spirit and destroyed her self-worth with his torment. She said she lived in a state of uncertainty, felt anxious all the time, and had panic attacks, and had to regularly see a counselor. Yemini showed no emotion as he was convicted and fined on charges of unlawful assault, using a carriage service to harass on 3 occasions, and breaching a personal safety order at Moorabbin Magistrates Court this morning. Now, that's very interesting, isn't it? Because there we have someone who has actually been convicted of beating his wife, an actual wife beater. Where's the video, Voodoo Media? Where's the video? Because Yemini is, you love talking about how all these alleged far-right leaders are all on the wrong side of things. You're going on this little crusade to attack me, Shazia Hobbs, Dion Moller, attack Paul Golding. But where's the video on Yemini, who's actually just been convicted of beating his wife, harassing her, and breaching court orders by doing what sounds like some pretty horrific things? And what's more, Yemini admitted all this. He admitted it in court, fighting against. And I can tell you now, I'll tell you this for nothing. This is just my little thought of the day. If there was a leading Islamic activist who had just pleaded guilty to beating and harassing his wife, TR News would have that as their banner headline. Their banner headline. But because it was Yemini, they won't be talking about it at all, because he can get away with whatever he wants. And something else about this man that I'm going to say about Yemini. When I was a young lad, I did some kickboxing, some taekwondo, some martial arts. Now, I'm not saying I'm some great martial artist. I wasn't. I did it when I was at school. You know, we're talking sort of over 20 years ago now. So I'm not, you know, some Van Damme or anything. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm getting at is the first thing I remember being taught at both my kickboxing lessons and at my taekwondo classes was that learning a martial art, the first sort of thing you learn in martial arts is restraint. And the first thing they tell you is that you should never use your martial arts. You should never use your skill. You should never use the techniques you learn in an aggressive manner. They should only ever be used in self-defense. You should never go out there and use those techniques to dominate innocent or decent people. You should never go out there and use them to be a bully. Now, Yemini teaches Krav Maga. He teaches a martial art. That's a guy who is entrusted in teaching children how to control themselves, how to use their martial arts in a responsible way. And here he is, intimidating, harassing, and beating a woman. Doesn't that just make it all the worse? Doesn't that just make it even more sickening?